Then the sales organization structure. Sales organization structure, guys. These are the areas which can be tested under the sales organization structure, and okay, principles behind sales organization structure. Then they will be testing this area, right? What are the areas you got to focus when designing the sales organization structure? There may be a question asking, okay, identify the areas that you have to focus when designing the sales organization structure, right? So they might be testing. Now, anyway, the sales organization structure should be a marketing oriented one. You know, I mean, like we were talking about it, it's built around activities, not around people. This build around activities, not about people, not around people. So we were talking about it, and the organization structure එක හදනකොට මිනිස්සුන්ගේ වටේ නෙමෙයි හදන්නේ. මිනිස්සුන්ගේ වටේ කියලා කියන්නේ ඒ තියෙන responsibility එකයි activity එකයි මත තමයි ඒක හදන්නේ, right? So then responsibilities and the authorities should clearly mention, and it should properly related to the activities that you have to comply. So that area you need to focus on. And we were talking about certain areas called span of executive control and chain of command, you know. So those things we need to look at when we talk about the organization structure, when we are designing the organization structure, right? Structure should be stable but flexible. We were talking about stability එක තියෙන්න ඕනේ structure එකේ, but in case you need to adjust, agile ඒ ටික adjust කරගන්න පුළුවන්කම තියෙන්න ඕනේ, right? Stability. මෙන්න මේ questions ටික, මෙන්න මේ areas ටික, out of these areas you might get at least 2 to 3 questions might be there, definitely. So specialization, centralization, span of control, you all should know the meaning of these things. Specialization, then you talk about, okay, specialization versus generalization, specialization versus generalization. Then centralization versus decentralization, centralization versus decentralization. Those areas you should have a clear idea. Span of control, okay, span of control, management level, and chain of command. Okay, so these things can be tested, can be in the sense that definitely any of these areas will be tested in your paper. Now, what do you mean by the specialization? When you look at the specialization in the sense just because of the what do you call division of labor, ශ්‍රම විභජනය කියලා අපි ඔකට සිංහලෙන් කියනවා, division of labor, we identify the specialization, right? ඒ කියන්නේ අපි ගත්තොත් එමු, okay, let me take you all into this. Now you all can see the image which is there at the bottom. Now when you look at that image, එක වැඩක් එක පුද්ගලයෙක්ට දීලා තියෙන එකම වැඩේ කරන්න නම් එතකොට මේ පුද්ගලයා ඒ වැඩේ පිළිබඳ මාස්ටර් වෙනවා. ඒක තමයි ස්පෙෂලායිසේෂන් එක කියලා කියන්නේ. ඒක වෙන්නේ ශ්‍රම විභජනය කියන එක. ඒ කියන්නේ division of labor කියන concept එක අනුව තමයි ස්පෙෂලායිසේෂන් එක ඇති වෙන්නේ. අපි ගත්තොත් එම ෆැක්ටරි එකක ෆැක්ටරි වර්කර්ස්ලා කියලා කියමුකෝ. ඒතර ගාමන්ට් ෆැක්ටරි එකක එක ලයින් එකක එක මැෂින් එකක වැඩ කරන එක එම්ප්ලොයි කෙනෙක්. ඒතකොට එයා මේ මැෂින් එකේ කරන්නේ පොඩි පාර්ට් එකක් විතරයි සම්පූර්ණ ගාමන්ට් එකේ. Then he or she getting specialized to do that, and by doing that speed එක වැඩි වෙනවා, accuracy එක වැඩි වෙනවා, efficiency එක වැඩි වෙනවා. So things are happening like that. So you all should know the meaning of this, the specialization and the generalization. Then when you look at the specialization and the generalization, you can see this, okay, specialized skill එකක් අවශ්‍ය නැත්තම්, so which means generalization එක අපි මේ කතා කරන්නේ. Some in between condition එකක් තියෙනවා ගොඩක් වෙලාවට companies වල, depending on the industry that you are playing in, you might have either specialization or the generalization or the in between approach of any of these things. Then we were talking about the centralization approach and the decentralization approach in a communication. So centralized communication in the sense, whatever the things, centralized communication decision making. When you look at centralized decision making in the sense, all the decisions are taken by one particular individual. Decentralized decision in the sense, decision making capacity or decision making authority passed to the people, those who are in other departments or the silos. So in respective silos, they can take their own decisions. So that approach we identified as the decentralization approach, and that can be tested. Span of control, another area, right? Number of people, those who are reporting to the manager, reporting to the senior, we identified as the span of control. Now his span of control is only 2. This guy's span of control 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So when the span of control is increasing, the structure, organization structure becomes kind of a flat. When the span of control is smaller, organization structure becomes tall structure. Flat structure. Then අපිට span of control එක මෙතන මෙහෙම share වෙලා යනවා නම් එක්කෙනෙක්ට යනවනම් මේක flat වෙලා තියෙන්නේ organization structure එක. එහෙම නැත්නම් මේක tall structure එකක් විදියට automatically හැදෙනවා span of control එක අපි අඩු කරගෙන hierarchy එක උඩට නගනකොට. So that definition you need to have with y'all. They might, I'm not going to talk about how to do the organization structure and them again, because y'all have done it. We have completed it. So these areas can be questions. Then the chain of command කියලා කියන්නේ chain of command කියලා කියන්නේ command එක යන පිළිවෙල කොහොමද කියන එක. As an example, if you look at the chain of command here, right? So chief ගෙන් first manager ගෙන් second manager. Chief second manager command කරන්න පුළුවන්. මං කිව්වා මෙයා ඔයා කරලා ඉවරලා. නමුත් second manager ට බෑ either third manager or second manager B ට command කරන්න, because her chain is into this side. And the first manager A ට බෑ first manager B ට command කරන්න, because chain of command එක යන්නේ මේ විදියට. So chain of command එක කියන්නේ මොකද්ද කියන එක. So the system in a military or civil organization by which instructions are passed. So which instructions are passed from one person to another person. System which instruction passed from one person to another person we identified as the chain of command. Chain of command. I think remember that those words can be tested. And the other area which will definitely be tested, the type of sales organization structure. Out of this sales organization structure, at least one sales organization structure might come in a question minimum. Sometimes there may be 2 or 3, we never know, but you have to be familiar with all the sales organization structures that are here. So out of these organization structures, you will get questions. So one is the geographic based sales organization structure, which means organization structure designed by looking at the geographic parameters. Okay, regions වෙන්න පුළුවන්, territories වෙන්න පුළුවන්, multinational continents වෙන්න පුළුවන්, you name. Like if you're talking about the global marketing approach, the global sales management approach, right? Continent approach එක වෙන්න පුළුවන්, so like that. Okay. Geographic approach එක ගත්තොත් අපිට එහෙම ඒක බේස් කරගෙන sales organization structure එක හැදෙන්න පුළුවන්. Or else the sales organization structure might come up with by looking at the product. අපි හිතමු එක team එකක් විකුණනවා FMCG, අනිත් team එක විකුණනවා IT, අනිත් team එක විකුණනවා තව service එකක්. Right? So product based sales organization structure එකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. So you need to identify, okay, how, what is the product-based sales organization structure. So the departments are classified based on the product and the services they sell. Individual silos assign separate products or the services for them to sell. So product-based sales organization structure. We were talking about the market-based sales organization structure. Same companies selling for few different markets. The government වෙන්න පුළුවන්, institutional sales වෙන්න පුළුවන්, then direct customer වෙන්න පුළුවන්, then private sector වෙන්න පුළුවන්. So like that, depending on the market, sales team categorize. මේ team එක government එකට විකුණනවා, මේ team එක corporate එකට විකුණනවා, මේ team එක consumer ට විකුණනවා, මේ team එක dealers ලට විකුණනවා. So like that. So customer base, so the market based sales organization structure කියලා ගන්න පුළුවන්. So you should be able to define it. So then the functional based sales organization structure, because all the silos are supporting the sales person to achieve the salesperson's objectives, and all the functions we identified separately identified sales වෙනම promotions කියලා කියන function එක වෙනම මේකට connect කරන්න පුළුවන් finance වෙන්න පුළුවන් logistic වෙන්න පුළුවන්. So all these functions separately because connected finally to the salesperson, support the salesperson either directly or indirectly. So that approach we identified as the functional based sales organization structure. So then, don't worry about this. I was just designing for some other purpose. Okay, the hybrid one. Hybrid one is one of the commonly used sales organization structure. Let me delete this. Hybrid sales organization structure in the sense, okay, sometimes not sometimes, you are connecting two or more organizational structures to design one. This is a commonly used one, commonly seen one in a large organization. Mainly, okay, the functional mainly functional based sales organization approach is also appearing, geographic, customer, product, or you name it. So you see more than two. More than one rather, organizational approaches, organizational structures connected together. So that approach we identified as the hybrid sales organization structure. So guys, out of these sales organization structures, right, you might at least get one or two to answer your as questions in your paper. So any questions, anyone is having any questions there? Anyone is having any questions there? Maybe sometimes even increase 5 or 6 questions, maybe sometimes, you never know. But definite area once again. Definite area once again. Any questions? Anyone is having any questions? Anyone is having any questions? Anyone is having any questions? No one is having no question. No one is having questions. Okay. Right. So you all clear with it, right? You all clear with it? We are coming into the module 4. Segmentation targeting a definite question area. Making them questions to not khatrak hadenna puluwa. Alright. Any questions? So far okay the okay nan thumbs up එකක් දෙන්න. So far okay the. Okay. Good. Right. Okay. Let's move on with the segmentation one. This is again an area which can be highly tested and definite questions are there. Maybe sometimes even more than 5 questions sometimes from this particular area. So focus and do. This is all about the segmentation, targeting and positioning area, my dear friends. And there are, since it's a strategic area, we talk about in depth. We were discussing in depth into this particular area, and we identified how we group our consumer market, how we group our business market. There are 4 areas we were talking about under this chapter. One is the segmentation, targeting, differentiation, and the positioning. So these are the 4 areas we were talking about under this chapter. So y'all should know the real meaning behind all these 4 words, which can be tested. The meanings of these 4 words: segmentation, the differentiation, the positioning, and the targeting one. So segmentation means what? Dividing the entire market into mutually exclusive groups, smaller groups. And targeting in the sense selecting the right group or right segment. Differentiation in the sense you implement your unique differentiation strategy, which means you bring values better than your competitor into the groups what you have identified. Positioning means you talk about getting into their mindset of the customers. So these are the 4 areas we were talking about under this. Identify karagana difference, the segmentation variables tick identify karagana, one of the area which can be tested, and their meanings also identify karagana what do you mean, including examples of sub variables, because they might even ask, okay, sub variables and connect with the main variable. So education දීලා අහන්න පුළුවන් ඒක geographic segmentation එකද, demographic ද, behavioral ද, psychographic ද කියන එක. So have some sub variables also with you all so that you can get an idea. So geographic කියලා කියන්නේ භූගෝලීය සාධක බේස් කරගෙන අපි මාකට් එක ඛණ්ඩනයකට ලක් කරනවායි කියන එක කියන්නේ segmentation කරනවායි කියලා කියන්නේ. So by looking at the geographical factors, we divide the market. So geographic segmentation. Demographic in the sense by looking at the individual parameters, like what you can hear, individual characteristics, personal characteristics, we segment the market. So behavioral, how the consumer purchase and consume the product, by looking at those, we segment the market. So the behavioral segmentation. Then we talk about the psychographic segmentation, their thinking, their morale, their personalities, and all these things, right? So those are the 4 variables which can be tested at your, in your paper. Then we were talking about, okay, the business market segmentation we were talking about. Of course, you can use variables like geographic and the demographic also, to a certain extent behavioral also we can talk about. And other than that, we have the business market segmentation variables over here. Operating characteristics, whether it's a manufacturing, distribution, trading, retailing kind of a approach. Purchasing approach in the sense, okay, whether they purchase volume or smaller quantity, online, the offline, the evage base karagena api categorize karna. So like that, situational factors, right? Micro and macro environmental factors change වෙනකොට ඒව base කරගෙන purchasing වලට එන clients ලා. So we categorize them. Personal characteristics කියලා කියන්නේ purchase කරන එක්කෙනාගේ authority එකයත් එක්ක තියෙන relationship එක අනුව we categorize our market. So we identified them, the business market segmentation in that way. Right. So we were talking about the consumer market segmentation and the business market segmentation. May dekema questions enna puluwan. So get yourself ready with your answers for that. And the Mazda model කියලා කියන්නේ මේ කාර් එකක් නෙමෙයි. I mean to say the requirement for effective segmentation කියන එක. අපි segmentation එකක් කරාට වැඩක් වෙන්නේ නැහැ if we don't basically look at these areas, if we don't consider these areas. So that will be tested, that can be tested, and they will ask, okay, what are the requirements for effective segmentation? Then you will have to identify these criteria, right? So measurability should be there. Your segment should be able to measure in numbers. Access කරන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්න ඕනේ segment එක. Substantial ඒ කියන්නේ sufficient වෙන්න ඕනේ. අපිට profit කරන්න පුළුවන් quantity එකක් තියෙන්න ඕනේ. Right, differentiable when you look at 2 segments, you should be able to differentiate segment A from segment B. Differentiable actionable in the sense whatever the programs අපිට පුළුවන් වෙන්න ඕනේ segment එක ඇතුළේ implement කරගෙන යන්න. So something like that. So we said the Mazda approach when it comes to the segmentation. So you need to look at, so that can be tested there. Then the targeting strategy will be a definite question. Yeah, maybe a definite question because since one of the main area. So targeting strategy, when you look at the targeting strategy, there are 4 targeting strategy we identified. 4 targeting strategy we identified. I mean, undifferentiated targeting or mass targeting or the mass marketing කියලා අපි කියනවා. එතකොට අපි කතා කරන්නේ broader target එකක්. ඒ කියන්නේ මුළු market එකම අපි target කරගෙන යනවා කියන එක අපි මෙතනදී කතා කරන්නේ. Differentiated targeting කියලා කියන්නේ we were using whatever the variables we identified before, and we segment the market, and after that we select the group to cater with our products and services. Niche targeting කියලා කියන්නේ, concentrated targeting කියලා කියන්නේ, we were talking about if you are focusing on one particular segment and do your design your marketing mix. So the niche can be the requirement is special, or the market may be sometimes small in numbers. So and the unique need may be unique products may be so considered under that category. Luxuries, of course, anyway comes, most of the luxuries, I'm not saying all the luxuries, comes under the concentrated marketing because they are talking about upper income level segment. So, but maybe other products also, some other products, medicine, maybe designer-based products, maybe whatever might come under the concentrated targeting strategy. And the other one, micro targeting strategies, ek api customized targeting කියලා කියනවා, individual targeting කියලා කියනවා, local targeting කියලා කියනවා. Local targeting කියලා කිව්වම, let's say as an example, if the bakery owner is selling only for his area, so it's a local targeting approach. Individual targeting in the sense the tailor-made targeting approach. එක project එකක්, එක client ගෙනෙට, එක garment එකක්, එක client ගෙනෙට kind of approach. That is why we call it as a tailor-made marketing, or the customized marketing, or the individual marketing. එතර individual targeting rather. So මෙන්න මේවා තමයි targeting strategies හතර. Definite question maybe. So get yourself ready with that. And the meanings are given, so identify that meaning and answer. So graphical representation is also there for the study purpose, so identify them. Positioning is getting into the consumer's mindset with your brand values. Positioning means getting into the mindset with your brand values, the product and the brand values. So we were talking about it. So how we need to get into the brand values. Sorry, I mean get into the mindset. We use the communication strategies. We use advertising, personal selling, direct, indirect, interactive marketing strategies. I mean impulse marketing and all these marketing strategies, communication strategies rather. We are using to getting into the consumer's mindset. So the positioning, we are using communication strategies to position the market. Give me 1 minute, guys. Sorry guys, sorry. Uh, Okay, so sorry about it, guys. So here the positioning in the sense the getting into the mindset of the consumer, right? So we are using a positioning map like this in the sense two-dimensional map, and by identifying two significant variables, what your brand can cater. Based on that, we design the positioning strategy, comparing with how the competitor can position on the same values. So the positioning strategy. So these four strategic areas you all need to look at. So definitely segmentation, targeting, and positioning strategy, differentiation strategy will come in your paper. So then let's look at the differentiation strategy. Sorry, I didn't tell the differentiation strategy. When it comes to the differentiation strategy, guys, which means okay, you identify the uniqueness of your brand against your competitor, and with that only you decide okay, what type of a differentiation you need to bring. So mostly we are positioning the differentiation. Remember that we are positioning the differentiation. So we need to identify the differentiation, sorry, the positioning variables first. There, that only, sorry, rather differentiation variables that only we are positioning in the mindset of the consumer. So you got to identify that. So අපිට මෙතන තියෙන ඒ කියන්නේ අපිට අපි මොනවා බේස් කරගෙනද differentiation එක කරන්නේ කියන එක you got to identify that. Then අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම Porter's strategy එක ගත්තොත් එහෙම. So here give me. Right. So Michael Porter talks about three differentiation approaches. Okay, Michael Porter talks about that theory we were discussing at the auditing level. Marketing audit chapter, we were talking about that model. So I was searching whether that is there here. So under differentiation, right, to differentiate the market, your product against the competition, we can use three models. We can use three models in the sense three approaches. So one we identified as the cost driven differentiation, which means the price driven differentiation, and the other one we identified as the value driven differentiation, and the third one we identified the combination of the price and the value hybrid approach. එතර මේක අපි කතා කරා Porter's 3 generic strategy එක කියලා කතා කරා අපි auditing part එක කරනකොට සහ marketing planning එක කරනකොට. So that differentiation we can go into when it comes for the product differentiation. දැන් ඔයගොල්ලන්ට ඔළුවට එන්න ඕනේ දැන් marketing auditing එක කරේ නම් batch 2 එකට අපි කරේ නෑ batch 1 එකට කරේ marketing auditing එක කරා අපි ළඟදී, right? So ඒක ඔළුවට දැන් එන්න ඕනේ. දැන් ගිය සතියේ අපි marketing auditing tools වගේක් කරා. එතනදිත් මම කතා කරා differentiation strategy එක, right? Existing differentiation එක අපි හොයාගන්න විදිය. So අන්න ඒ tool එක use කරලා අපි cost driven strategy එකක්ද කරන්නේ, value driven strategy එකක්ද කරන්නේ, hybrid approach එකක්ද කරන්නේ කියන එක you got to identify with your product and the services. ඒක අනුව තමයි අපි decide කරන්නේ අපි මොකද්ද position කරන්න කියන එක. මතක තියාගන්න differentiation එක තමයි positioning එකට අපි ගෙනියන්නේ. So segmentation, targeting, differentiation and the positioning කියලා කියන්නේ මෙතන ඕගොල්ලෝගේ slides ගාන අඩු වුණාට question base වෙන්න පුළුවන් ප්‍රමාණය වැඩි. Question base වෙන්න පුළුවන් ප්‍රමාණය ලොකු ප්‍රමාණයක් base වෙන්න පුළුවන් slides ගාන අඩු වුණාට. Any questions there? We were talking about all this. Any questions? Monoharit questions තියනවාද? මේකේ. Anyone? Anyone is having any questions? Anyone is having any questions? Anyone is having any questions, guys? Anyone is having any questions, guys? Okay, seems no questions. Good. Right. Let's move on the other area. Right? Which means we talk about the marketing mix strategies, right? Marketing mix strategies, and there I have this sales diploma. I have given a separate note and shared slides for different elements. Sorry, there was issue with the network. Right, guys, then the marketing mix, I have given a separate note for you all, and we were talking about even the individual elements separately, and I have shared you all the slides also there. So that area is also one of the main area which is coming under your module 4, and which can be tested at the paper. So marketing mix කියලා කියන එක ගත්තොත්, okay, before I talk about marketing mix, any questions so far? Anyone is having any questions so far? Anyone is having any questions so far? ප්‍රශ්න අහන්න පාඩම් කරලා තියෙන්න බෑනේ. පාඩම් කරලා තිබ්බනම් ප්‍රශ්න අහන්න තිබ්බා. ප්‍රශ්නේ අහන්නේ කොහෙන්ද කියලා තේරෙන්නේ නැති වුණාම ප්‍රශ්න අහන්නත් බෑනේ. That is also there. Okay. Okay, under marketing mix, right? Under marketing mix, we were talking about 4 different strategy area. In DSSM syllabus, you don't go in depth into this one, not like the marketing syllabus. Marketing syllabus, we go in depth into this. But generally, we were talking about all these areas. Guys, you all should know the meaning of marketing mix, right? And the key elements that are there in the marketing mix, and you all should be able to define each and every terms, including examples of for each and every point in marketing mix. And these things we were discussing, and we talk about the I mean, how product vary by looking at the tangibility and the intangibility might be tested. More than that, I mean, this model will be tested definitely. This model will be tested with you all, and the product classification. This can be tested. So, ඔගොල්ලෝගේ syllabus එකේ යනකොට මෙන්න මේ product classification එක. So, how do you identify the different types of products by looking at the 2 different markets? ඔයගොල්ලන්ට මතක නම් අපි කරා 2 type of markets, consumer market, industrial market කියලා market දෙකක් අපි කරා. ඒතර මේ market දෙකට අපි ගත්තාම මේ කොහොමද මේ market දෙක approach වෙන්නේ කියන එක. Products අපි identify කරගන්නේ කොහොමද කියන එක. So consumer products අපි identify කරගත්තා durability එක base කරගෙන, durable ද non durable ද කියලා. Shopping experience එක base කරගෙන convenient shopping products, specialty, unsold goods කියලා products හතරක් අපි identify කරගත්තා. So මෙන්න මේ product classification එක බලාගන්න. they might ask you all, okay, make product type එක දීලා මේක මොන product category එකටද කියලා අහන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙම නැත්නම් consumer goods types හතරක් shopping effort එක base කරගෙන consumer goods identify කරගන්න categories 4 ලියන්න කියලා පුළුවන්. ඒ වගේ මේ model එකත් use කරන්න පුළුවන් questions වල. That also one of the area which can be tested at your paper. And there are mainly that area will be tested. Also have a look on these two. New product development process and the product life cycle. You don't, I mean, we were discussing this, but under the syllabus, you don't have in-depth into it, though we were discussing these 2 areas, the new product development process and the product life cycle. Just have a look on this area and keep it. Maybe one question in case comes, since those are there already in the system, one question might come. So have a look on this. New product development process එකේ ආවොත් එන්නේ steps ටික පිළිවෙලකට ලියන්න. එහෙම නැත්නම් අඩුපාඩු තියෙන steps ටික ලියන්න. Product life cycle එකේ locations ටික identify කරගන්න. break even point එක identify කරගන්න. ඔය වගේ question එකක් තමයි PLC එකෙන් එන්නේ. But for the marketing class, you get significant area on this one. So product part එකෙන් ඔය ටික එන්නේ. So Anish, you have raised your hand. කලින් උස්සපුවා තමයි නේද මේ තාම තියෙන්නේ? Okay. Then let's look at the pricing part. Pricing wala, yes, we were talking about the pricing also we were talking about. එතකොට මෙතනදී බලා ගන්න pricing වලට බලපාන සාධක සහ main pricing strategies තුන බලා ගන්න. consumer based pricing strategy, market based pricing strategy, right, competitor based pricing strategy කියන එක ඒ pricing strategies විදියට බලා ගන්න. These can be tested. So but not in depth like Inelasticity will not come under your syllabus. Those will be there under the marketing syllabus mainly. But just have a look. Break-even point calculate කරන question එකක් එන්න පුළුවන්, right? Break-even point එක මොකද ඒක අපි කතා කරා තැන් කීපයකදීම break-even formula එක can be there for you all to calculate. ප්‍රශ්නයක් දීලා figures දීලා calculate කරන්නයි කියලා කියන්නත් පුළුවන්. එහෙම නැත්නම් formula එක complete කරන්නයි කියලා එන්න පුළුවන්. Whatever the way they might ask you a question, but very unlikely. But never know. But just have a look. Additional reading විදිහට කරගෙන යන්න. Elasticity, inelasticity might be tested. So value may pricing strategies දෙක බලා ගන්න, cost based pricing strategy and the value based pricing strategy, how it differs, these two. Cost based start from the factory side, the value based start from the customer end. So identify that part, and mainly the factors what we need to look at when considering the pricing. We need to look at a models ටික බලා ගන්න. A models ටිකෙන් questions එන්න පුළුවන් in your syllabus. A models වල පැහැදිලි නැති දැන් තියෙනවද කාට හරි? Anyone is having any questions on those areas? Anyone not clear with those areas? තියෙනවද එහෙම පැහැදිලි නැති තැන්? Yeah, Navalka kia.
Sir, පොඩ්ඩක් පුළුවන් වේද 5 photos එක පොඩ්ඩක් කියලා දෙන්න. 5 photos computer එක අර අපි කියන්නේ දැන් සාමාන්‍ය ඉන්ටර්නෙට්
5 photos නෙමෙයි.
5 photos නෑ 5 photos අර වගේ පොඩ්ඩක් 5 photos එක
5 photos නෙමෙයි 5 forces. Porters 5 forces.
Yeah, 5 porters 5 forces.
නෑ කලබලෙට කියනකොට පැටලෙනවා. Right, okay. It's like this. Porters 5 මටත් පැටලෙනවා. Porters 5 forces අපි කතා කරන්නේ micro environmental analysis එකේදී. Right? එතකොට Porters 5 forces analysis එක කියලා කියන්නේ industry analysis එකක්. එතනදී අපි points පහක් ගැන එකයි 5 forces කියලා කියන්නේ competitive forces පහක් identify කරගන්නවා. අපි marketing audit එක කරනකොටත් මේක කරා auditing tool එකක් විදියට. එතකොට අපි මෙතනදී කතා කරනවා එකක් තමයි customer මේක හරි සරලයි ඕගොල්ලෝ ගත්තොත් අර පළවෙනියටම අපි කතා කරපු model එක. අපිට කලින් supplier ඉන්නවා අපිත් එක්ක parallel competitor ඉන්නවා අපිට ඉස්සරහින් channel intermediary final customers ලා ඉන්නවා. ඕනෝක තමයි අපේ main micro model එක. එතකොට ඔන්න ඔය ටික අපේ competitive forces වෙනවා. එකක් තමයි අපේ supplier. Supplier ගේ bargaining power එක අපිට competitive forces එකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Supplier අපිට වඩා powerful නම් ඒක අපිට threat එකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Supplier වඩා අපි powerful නම් ඒක අපිට opportunity එකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. එතන competitor අනිත් එක්ක යන අනිත් පැත්තෙන් ගත්තොත් industry rivalry කියලා කියනවා. Porters model එකේ අපි competitor identify කරගන්නවා. competitor කියලා කියන එක වැරදි නෑ. industry rivalry එකක් කියලා කියන්නේ. ඒතර industry එක ඇතුලේ තියෙන direct rivalry එක. ඒතර ඔයිට අමතරව industry එකේ indirect rivalries තියෙනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම substitute products අපි කතා කරනවා. එතකොට ඒවා ඒ කියන්නේ ආදේශක භාණ්ඩ අපි කතා කරනවා. ඒතකොට ඒවා ගත්තොත් එහෙම ඒවා competition එකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. තේ වෙනවට කෝපි සිගරට් වෙනවට බීඩි වගේ ওই දේවල් ආදේශක භාණ්ඩ අපි ගරගන්නවා. මේ එතකොට එහෙම ගත්තොත් එහෙම substitute pressure. ඒ කියන්නේ ඒවා direct indirect competition එක. ඒ කියන්නේ industry rivalry එක අපිට pressure එකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. And the other one buyer bargaining power. Buyer bargaining power කියලා කිව්වම buyer වෙන්න පුළුවන් channel intermediary bargaining power එක වෙන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙම නැත්නම් final buyer ගේ bargaining power එක වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒතර ඔය දෙක අපිට කතා කරන්න පුළුවන්. customer bargaining power, channel intermediary bargaining power එක අපිට කතා කරන්න පුළුවන්. සමහරලාට channel intermediaries ලගේ bargaining power එක වැඩි නම් අපිට වඩා ඒක competitive pressure එකක් අපිට. consumer ගේ bargaining power එක වැඩි නම් අපිට වඩා එයාගේ demanding power එක වැඩි නම් අපිට වඩා එතන අපිට competitive pressure එකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. So like that. And the other one it talks about the potential entrance, future entrance එක අපිට threat එකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් අපි උදාහරණයක් විදිහට ගත්තොත් ඕගොල්ලෝගේ industry එකට අපි හිතනවා නම් foreign investor කෙනෙක් ලංකාවට ඇවිල්ලා ඕගොල්ලෝගේ industry එකට enter වෙන්න පුළුවන්. It's a potential entrance, the future threat you might foresee. So those are. විතර 5 forces අපි කතා කරනවා Porter's model එක යටතේ. Michael Porterගේ ඒ industry analysis model එක යටතේ. එකක් තමයි supplier, customer, ඒ කියන්නේ buyer bargaining power, industry rivalry, potential threat එක, ඒ වගේම channel intermediary කියන ඔය ටික අපි කතා කරනවා 5 forces විදියට. පැහැදිලි නේද? නවක.
Oh sir, පැහැදිලි sir.
Okay. Anyone is having any more questions there? Good. So under promotions, guys, in your syllabus, you all need to know basically the communication mix or the promotion mix strategies ටික දැනගන්න. ඕගොල්ලෝගේ syllabus එකේ සහ මම මේ කලිනුත් කතා කරා macro process එක communication process model එක macro model එක. ඒක අපි කතා කරා. ඕගොල්ලෝගේ syllabus එකේ budget එක බලා ගන්න. Communication kind of promotion budget strategies හතර මොනවද කියලා affordable method, percentage of sales method, competitive parity method, objective and task method කියන budgeting ක්‍රම හතර බලා ගන්න. ඔයගොල්ලන්ට IMC එකක් plan කරන්න නැහැ. ඒ කියන්නේ integrated marketing communication එකක් plan කරන්න නැහැ. But for knowledge purpose සහ for safe sound you just study the push versus pull strategy also. Push කියලා කියන්නේ channels හරහා customer ට message එක ගෙනින එක, pull කියලා කියන්නේ consumer ට communicate කරන market එකෙන් product එක pull කරන්න motivate කරන්න බලාගෙන. So push versus pull strategy areas ටික ඒ ටික බලාගෙන විශේෂයෙන්ම මේ marketing communication mix elements කියන හොඳ අවබෝධයක් තියාගන්න. මොනවද මේ elements කියන්නේ? මේ elements වල meaning main elements වල meaning ටික දීලා තියෙනවා. ඊට අමතරව additionally add වෙලා තියෙනවා interactive marketing මේ digital component එකේ හින්දා. එතකොට අපි ගත්තොත් එම events and experience කියන එක add වෙලා තියෙනවා, word of mouth කියන එක add වෙලා තියෙනවා. So කීපයක් අලුතෙන් add වෙලා තියෙනවා, but generally the main mix එක ඕගොල්ලෝ මතක තියාගන්න ඕනේ. ඕගොල්ලෝගේ communication mix එක විදියට මෙතන තියෙනවා. So ඔය ටික තමයි communication part එකෙන් එන්න තියෙන්නේ. So these slides also we have shared you all. So any question there, if you all have, you all can raise now. මම කියන්නේ ඔයගොල්ලන්ට focus කරගෙන යන්න ඕනේ. ඒ ටික මට I can't do the whole session again. Then the distribution also the main part එක තමයි ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ එන්නේ. What is distribution කියන එක. What is marketing mix එක ඇතුලේ තියෙන definitions ටික අනිවාර්යෙන් ඔයගොල්ලෝ දැනගෙන තියෙන්න ඕනේ. ඔයගොල්ලන්ට එන්න පුළුවන් distribution channels වලින් හම්බ වෙන benefits මොනවද කියන එක, ඒගොල්ලෝ add කරන values මොනවද කියන එක, right? And two type of distribution approaches එන්න පුළුවන් questions වල. So vertical marketing might come, but just read them and keep it with you all. Mainly මෙතනින් the multi-channel might come. Okay, they might ask, okay, what is multi-channel කියන එක, right? What is vertical marketing කියන එක they might test, but not in depth. Maybe one question might come. Distribution එකෙන් එකක් හරි දෙකක් හරි questions එන්න පුළුවන්, right? එතකොට ඒකට prepare වෙන්න. Especially the distribution එකේ කියන්නේ මොකක්ද කියන එක, value delivery එක එන්නේ කොහොමද කියන එක, සහ consumer distribution channel, business distribution channels මොනවද කියන එක identify කරගන්න. Consumer distribution channels අපි ගත්තොත් wholesaler, retailer, agent, broker, franchise, licensing office ඒවා මොනවද කියන එක we were talking about, right? ඒ ටික බලා ගන්න. ඒ පැත්තෙන් questions එන්න පුළුවන්. මම කියන්නේ තාම අපි මේ final strategy model එකේ කතා කරපුවා නෙමෙයි හොඳේ. MCQs වලින් 70%ක් විතර ඕගොල්ලන්ට එන්නේ මේ 70%කටත් 70%ක් විතර ඕගොල්ලන්ට මේ එන්නේ මේ first and second stage වලින්. Yeah, Pradeep, go ahead. Pradeep කියන්න. Pradeep කලින් උස්සපු අතද මේ නැත්නම් Okay, so those are the areas that are coming under the distribution, guys. So you all have to make it in that way. So other than that, tamai law walling questions enawa, maths walling questions enawa. So eva venamama mewa karaganda maths walling questions කීපයක් එයි. Quick questions එයි guys. Maths වලිනුත් ඒ කියන්නේ පොඩි අර නිකන් practical ඕගොල්ලෝගේ mathematical approach එක පොඩක් හුරු කරන්න මෙතන තියෙන පොඩි exercises කීපයක් තියෙනවා LMS එකේ ගිහලා කරන්න. එතකොට y'all can get an idea. Some more questions will be anyway added. මෙතන මේ maths වල පොඩි questions වගේක් දීලා තියෙනවා. Okay, this is for DSSM1 group එකට. This content okay. පොඩි exercises ඕගොල්ලන්ට කරගෙන යන්න පුළුවන් ටක් ගාලා මේ ඔයගොල්ලෝගේ ස්පීඩ් එක හදාගන්න. මේ basic addition, subtractions, formula මේ steps කීපයක් තියෙනවා. මේවයි ඔයගොල්ලෝ බලන්න. right? එතකොට ඔයගොල්ලෝගේ ස්පීඩ් එක හදාගෙන යන්න පුළුවන් පොඩි ඒවා. averaging ඒවා මේවා ටිකකුත් අපි දානවා මෙතනට. mean mode median calculations ටිකක් අපි sorry. mean mode median calculations ටිකක් අපි දානවා මෙතනට so that you all can practically do and see. ඉතින් මේවත් පොඩ practically කරන්න කරලා ඉවරලා ඒවා හුරු වෙන්න. මෙතන maths වලට දාලා තියෙනවා mean mode median calculations මම හිතන්නේ මෙතන නැතුව ඇති. let me see. Every salesperson must be comfortable in mathematical calculations. Podi formulas correct. So podi formulas evala value එක හොයන්න. So like that podi formulas එතන තියෙන ඕගොල්ලන්ට simplify කරන්න. මේවා කරලා හුරු වෙන්න. So මේ වගේ questions උත් එන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ වයින් ඕගොල්ලන්ට score කරන්න පුළුවන් ඉක්මනට. ඒක තමයි එතන තියෙන benefit එක තියෙන්නේ. ඕගොල්ලන්ට time save කරගන්න පුළුවන් ඒ වගේ questions වලින්. So do them. Then it will be good for you all, right? So any questions? I'm not going to do the auditing part and everything since the batch 2 is also there. We have not done auditing part for them. So whatever the areas we have covered them only I was taking today. So it's not fair me revising the auditing part. Some from the batch 2 is also there. So any questions guys?
Sir, can we use a calculator for the exam?
Pulua. You can. Can. Right? That won't be an issue. But you can't use mobile phones. Guys, let me show you all something. Wait. වැරදිලවත් ඕගොල්ලෝගේ screens වල capture වුණොත් device දෙකක් use කරන්න බෑ. එකක් තමයි device දෙකක් use කරන්න බෑ. අනිත් එක තමයි ඕගොල්ලෝගේ screens වල වැරදිලවත් capture වුණොත් ඕගොල්ලෝ mobile phones use කරනවා. එහෙම නැත්නම් let's say as an example ඕගොල්ලෝ what's it? Okay, I'm showing a real. I'm not showing the real exam one. I'm just saying a practice test one team did. So මේ වගේ mobile phone එහෙම use වෙනවා capture වුණොත් you will be disqualified. Make a practice test එකක්. So that is why I just show you. මේ use කරන එක මොකද හැම තප්පර 15කම ඕගොල්ලෝගේ image එක capture වෙනවා. right? ඕගොල්ලොන් approach කරන විදිය capture වෙනවා. ඉතින් ඕගොල්ලොන්ගේ backgrounds clear වෙන්න ඕනේ, mobile devices use කරන්න බෑ. ඕගොල්ලොන් screen එකට focus කරලා තියෙන්න ඕනේ, screen එක clear වෙන්න ඕනේ, ඕගොල්ලොන්ගේ picture එකත් එක්ක match වෙන්න ඕනේ, right? මේ I'm just showing you all the practice test image. clutter වෙන්න බෑ backgrounds right? ඒ හින්දා ඒවා ඔක්කොම හදාගන්න. ඒවයින් disqualify වෙන්න එපා. I'm really sorry I can't keep on showing it. So ඉතින් ඒවා හදාගන්න මේ ඒක ඕගොල්ලොන්ගේ අතේ තමයි තියෙන්නේ. ඒක මොකද හැම ස්ටෙප් එකක්ම රිමෝට්ලි කරනකොට අපිට ලොකුවට අපිට කියලා කියන්නේ මේවා කම්ප්ලයි කරන්න සිද්ධ වෙනවා. එහෙම නැති වුණොත් මේකේ ඕගොල්ලන්ට වැලියු එකකුත් නැහැ. මේක අපිට වැලියු එකකුත් නැහැ. ඉන්ඩස්ට්‍රි එකට වැලියු එකකුත් නැහැ. එහෙම වුණාම so ඒ ඉන්න. ඉතින් හැම තප්පර 10ක් 15ක් ඇතුළතම එයා ටයිම් එයා ස්ක්‍රීන් එක ඕගොල්ලොන්ගේ ඩෙස්ක්ටොප් එක කැප්චර් කරන එක අපි හදනවා. එතකොට ඩෙස්ක්ටොප් ස්ක්‍රීන් එක කැප්චර් කරන්න තමයි next මේක තියෙන්නේ. එතකොට ඒක ඕගොල්ලොන් ඩෙස්ක්ටොප් එකේ තවත් theory notes open කරගෙන ඉන්නවා නම් ඒකත් capture කරන විදිහට තමයි අපි system එක හදන්නේ. So ඉතින් මේ ඔක්කොම කරන්නේ for the benefit of you people. penalize කරන්න නෙමෙයි standard එක up කරන්න. ඒතකොට ඕගොල්ලන්ට බය නැතුව මේ ඕගොල්ලෝගේ qualification එකට තියෙන recognition එක හදා ගන්න පුළුවන්. බය නැතුව ඕන තැනක ගිහලා කතා කරන්න පුළුවන්. So that is the reason. right? ඉතින් මේ දේවල් කරගෙන යන්න මොකද back end එකේ team එකක් right? ඕගොල්ලන්ට visible වෙන්නේ මම සෙනාල් කොමුදු කීප දෙනෙක් විතරයි. back end එකේ team එකක් ඕගොල්ලන්ට මේ systems හදාගෙන මේ ටික මේවා කරගෙන යනවා. ඕගොල්ලන්ගේ examination එකේ වෙනම කට්ටියක් ඉන්නවා. ඕගොල්ලන්ගේ assignments බලලා මොකද අපි මුක්කටවත් involve වෙන්නේ නැහැ ඒවට. ඉතින් ඒවා අපිට කතා කරලා blame කරන්නත් බෑ. සෙනාල්ලට කතා කරලා push කරන්නත් එපා. මුදුලට කතා කරලා push කරන්න එපා. They can't do that. Okay. So any questions you all have? Now it's 5:30. Any questions? Exam එකේ preparation සම්බන්ධ මොනවාරි questions තියෙනවද ඔයගොල්ලන්ට? මොනවාරි තියෙනවද exam preparation සම්බන්ධව? Anyone is having any questions regarding the exam preparation? No. අද කරපු revision එකෙන් මොකද හිතෙන්නේ?
It's really useful, sir. Thank you so much for arranging this session.
It was a sudden thing anyway, right? So it was not a planned one, but I also felt it was good to have. Anyone is having any questions? Anyone? දැන් මේ exam එකට ready වෙන කට්ටියම ready වෙනව නේද? Anyone who have not even think about the exam? Anyone? You have not even bothered, not even think about the exam? Okay, seems everybody is okay. So Senal, you have any messages? If not, we can quit for the day. Senal, are you there?
Yes, no messages.
Any messages? No.
No, all good.
Okay, all right, guys. So then we'll meet up in next week. Next week again, you will sit with PL sir to complete the mathematics part. So be there because 10% weightage is there from the maths for the paper, and even the law. Get you all notes related to law and law questions. There will be at least 5 to 10 questions from law as well. So get ready with your law notes also, right? Right, that's it from my side. Okay, Senal, so that we can quit for the day, guys. Thank you very much, and sorry for having a different session than you were expecting. So we'll meet up in next week then. Thank you very much. All the best.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
No problem.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.